Okay, uh, Benjamin O. Payne, operator training video, take 199. I've done this a few times. We'll see if I can get it right here. Okay, so the first thing an operator should expect once we've set you up is you'll get an email. In this case, I'm going through sort of a dummy Gmail account, but this is what the email will look like. First one. I've done this amendment a number of times, so I'm not going to run through the create account, but that's basically what you will do is you will just follow the instructions in this first email, run through that. At some point, they're going to send you a second email after you've been through part one, and this is the software that you will accept and download. It's pretty light, it's non-invasive, only takes a minute to get it set up. You might yet still get another email in order to authorize the device that you're logging in from. This is just a security thing. So once you add the computer you're logging in from to trusted devices, you probably won't have to do that again. So once you've gone through all that, and I'm skipping to the point, but I'm already logged into my account. Once you've done all that, it's going to launch the account. You're going to put in your name and password, and I believe what I set operators up with to begin with is Amphidrome with a capital A is your password. So assuming that I am logged in already and that you can manage to get there, this is your account profile here. You can click this to change your password and et cetera, et cetera. For the moment, what I care about is, I'm just going to minimize that. These are the two projects that I have been assigned, or rather, this operator, Zach Tillett, will be assigned. Zach, I hope this video is helpful. I'm using you as the example. I hope that's okay. We are going to connect to Oneto South, this project. These two are Zach's projects. These computers have been assigned to Zach, so we're going to connect. And you just have to accept this one more step. Just go ahead and, yes, allow remote PC to access this computer. And something you'll find as we're waiting for this to connect is that things are a little bit slow. We're bouncing from computer to computer in order to make this technology work. So try not to be impatient. Try not to click something 100 times because it'll probably cause you problems. You'll also find that when we get to the Excel spreadsheet aspect, you'll need to be patient for those cells to be populated with numbers, etc. So on my screen here, you'll see the same thing. At this point, you are looking at the desktop of the computer, which is attached to the Amphidrome system on this project. It's as though you are sitting out there with a keyboard and a mouse, literally operating that computer. So those familiar with Windows will come down here to the Windows tab. And you've got your settings and whatnot that I, as BO Payne, will probably manage, at least set up a lot of this. In this case, there are multiple users assigned to this computer. I'm already logged in, but if I were Zach, I would come in here and select my name and sign in, or more likely that screen will be the first screen when you log into the computer. And that's that. So once you're signed in, this is the desktop screen that you will see. I can minimize this just to get it out of my way. So step one is to open the software, which is this DirectSoft data server. This right here is just a shortcut on the desktop. The program actually lives in the My Documents section. So that's quick access, but to be specific, it would be on this PC. On the hard drive, there's a Documents folder, and I've started saving things in there, and you can as well. This, for example, is a PDF of a data log that I pulled up earlier, and I created it and saved it here so I can come back and look at it later without having to open Microsoft Excel and go through all that. So minimizing that for now. The program, actually, I may have misspoken. The program lives here. That was the project file on the computer, but the program lives here. But I've created a shortcut. I've also put one here on the taskbar, so you should be able to just click this, or this shortcut on the desktop will get you there as well. So hopefully you won't have any trouble finding. Double click and open it. Here's where you would be patient. I've double clicked it. I'm not going to keep clicking even though nothing seems to be happening. I'm going to wait just a minute and see if it launches. I guess it was already open to begin with. So it has launched, and in this case, I see that the link is good. We have a connection. Otherwise, this first line here would say it was failed or cannot read from the PLC, etc. So now that we've opened that, that's all we needed from that software. So you're just going to minimize that, but you have to leave it open. You can't close it. You just minimize it because this is what allows the PLC to talk to the computer and write to this Excel spreadsheet that we're going to next. So next you'll open the spreadsheet, which is preset to read from the PLC. Again, be patient. Excel is a pretty big program. Here's where it's a little confusing in the beginning. You're going to get a handful of seemingly negative messages. We're going to scroll through them pretty quickly. This first one is workbook contains links. Yes, we want to update those links. We want to update them with the latest information that's on the PLC. So yes, we're going to update. Now, these next few things are sort of bugs in the system that I've been through, and between now and a short time from now, I hope to be able to eliminate these extra messages here in the beginning. But for now, this is just a setting. I'm going to hit OK, and then I know from experience that it's going to try to launch a couple of other things, and I'm just going to have to cancel out of that. It's looking for this file, but I know that I don't actually need it. So hopefully I can eliminate this message in the future as well. For now, I'm going to hit cancel. Even though it says it can't give me the information I want, that's okay because I canceled that anyway. More of the same. This is still looking for this temporary folder. I hope to clean all this up, but you'll just scroll through all that and basically ignore it. And that will open the Excel spreadsheet. You'll see that this column L had numbers in it, it had values in it, and then as soon as we logged in, those values disappeared, and it goes to this hashtag NA. That means that the values that had been left in there since the last time we signed in have been deleted, and that little process there where you now see the cells have been populated with values. So that's where you just be patient. You know it's going to connect. So right now we're on the V registers tab, and we'll go through this in more detail in another tutorial. But for now, I just wanted to get you to log in. But very briefly, this cell shows the date. This is the time. It happens to be 4:32 in the afternoon right now. And these are the values that are in the system at this moment in time. If I went to the event log, again, being patient just for the software to switch pages, so to speak. This is the project. This is the information you'll want to study. You'll probably want to zoom into a specific point in time and navigate around this spreadsheet, which will take some getting used to, but it's really just Excel, and you can zoom in and see these are times, and we'll go through that training. But for now, let's just say you got it open, and great. A lot of times what I would do now, before I even go in and read anything, is I would hit File, Save As, and I'm going to save it to my documents here, which you can see it's on this PC. It's my documents, and I'm going to save the Onito log, but I'm going to save it as a PDF just because everyone can read a PDF and you don't have to open up Excel. I'm going to put a date on it. Today's January 4, 2020. And I think I've already got one in there. Yeah, I already put one in there. So I'm going to make this B, as though the first one was A and this is B. I'm just giving it a new name because I've already done this a couple times today. Save that, and that will take a little bit to create that PDF, so it's going to use up some computer. But you can do that at the end as well and just sit and wait on it. But I think it's easier to read from a PDF personally. But you'll find that in order to change values, you'll need to be logged into the software here. So hopefully that is a little tutorial on how to get from your laptop or computer at your home or work and access the computer attached to the Amphidrome project for which you are the operator. I've shown you how to accept the emails which have been sent. When I say, hey, I want this is the operator, and I'm going to okay or authorize you to access those computers, that's when you'll start getting that email. You'll go through that. This here is the PDF that I just created. I just think it's a little easier to navigate around in a PDF, but we'll work that out in the next tutorial. So I'm closing this for now just because it's going to take too long. Okay, picking up where we left off, I realized I cut off the last tutorial prematurely. So let's say you've come in to the Excel spreadsheet and you've evaluated it, you've made some changes, you've done what you're going to do for the day. Then you decide whether or not you're going to save it, or if you don't want to accept whatever changes you've made, if you're just experimenting a little bit, then maybe you don't want to save it. But typically you'll just, in order to, if you have made changes, in order to make those changes, stick with it, you would hit File, Save. And it's just going to save back to the same location and overwrite itself every time. Then you can go ahead and just close the Excel spreadsheet. I can go to the remote PC software and I can switch to a different project, or I can just sign out of that and be done for the day. So this is the home page that you'll get used to after you've created the account for the first time, and you'll just come in here and sign in, and you'll recognize the user interface as you get used to it, I hope. So the last thing that I want to talk about is this is a computer just like anything you would sign into otherwise. So whether you use Internet Explorer or Google Chrome, they're both on here. For example, you can sign into Chrome, double click it, go up here, current user, and sign in. Go to Gmail. And sign in here. Or whatever mail program you use. And just log into your email account. When you get in there, you're going to create an email, add an attachment, which is probably the PDFs that you created during this project. So I could email myself this data log, which is we created earlier in the process, and just email that to myself or to us at Benjamin O'Payne for review. I think that's the way we're going to communicate, is to have you also could put a thumb drive or a jump drive, plug it into the mini PC out on site and save it there, and that would be a drive here. Obviously there's not one plugged in now, but if you wanted to do it that way. But I think the thing to do is just to I see this hard drive's getting a little full. I'm probably going to do a disk cleanup. But I think the thing to do is to, when you're finished with your reporting, just log in to your own email account and send it as an attachment. And we'll go from there. Okay, picking up where I left off. I've made a few changes or improvements, but the bulk of the first tutorial remains valid. So once you are logged in to the remote computer, which I am now, so if you see my screen, I'm going to toggle between my desktop computer here, or when I click this icon here, this is the desktop of the computer at the Amphidrome system. So the process is the same, although I have noticed that it's probably a good idea to, not this one. There are two DS launches. I'm going to remove that so there are any problems. DS launch is just a launching program. It's where the communication link is set. So you can see this with this green active. So that's good. It means the connection is good. Similar to DirectSoft, which I showed you in the last tutorial. Also, you'll note here while this is opening, I guess it's already open, again, DS data. This is what you open first, so to speak, or rather from left to right. It's a good practice to just launch DS launch, then DirectSoft server, make sure that the link is good on both of those, and then you open the Excel spreadsheet, which I'm working on now. While I'm doing that, I'll show you that I've also set up the start menu. So these same programs that you see on the desktop are effectively in the same order on your start menu, just to help you remember the sequence and to not be confused by all this other stuff on the computer. These are the basics. I've either set you up with something on the start menu or on the taskbar down here, or on the desktop here. So I got a little distracted there, but essentially our Excel spreadsheet has updated itself. You see the time, the date is 107, the time is 4:33. I'm going to maximize this. So one thing that I have changed a little bit is, and again, we're going to go through a whole nother tutorial about understanding V registers and whatnot. But one thing I did change is when I suggested making a PDF file. I'm just going to do an example here. What I've set up on this computer now, and I will set up on all the others, is a cloud folder. So we have the documents on this computer, right? So most of the stuff I've stored so far is on this PC, and under documents is where we've stored things so far. What I've also added is this folder here, and you'll have access to whatever projects you're assigned. So operator reports. Right now, here's the Oneto South folder, and if you save things into this folder, then you don't need to attach them to email or anything like that. That basically puts it up into the cloud, and anyone at BOP can pull it down and analyze the data as we wish. I have some reservations about that. In some ways, I think emailing the file is a good way to make sure that everyone knows, what's up to date and all that. But I did want this option here included. So bottom line is I have added, oh, geez, sorry. I've added this Citrix share file icon here, which will take you where you want to go. It's also a folder in Windows Explorer, just like any other drive. It'll be here as the Citrix drive. And the way I'm setting this up is you will only be able to access the projects that you're involved with, so you won't have to deal with a bunch of clutter. It'll be straightforward. You'll have your share file account, and I will set it up. Some of this here is just temporary practice files as I've been working through this system. And that's about that. So I think we'll stop this tutorial here and regroup for the next one.